To those of you who think that you are going to replace Charlie Kirk, okay? Kings are born. You don't just get to depose and tell us that we're going to follow this individual, okay? I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA. You put a shill in Charlie Kirk's chair, in Charlie Kirk's company, and you try to tell us to follow that individual, I will be an enemy of you. There will be nothing that can stop me, okay? And I want you guys to say, this is not a threat, this is a promise. There will be nothing that can stop me. I will release every single text message. So to those of you who are trying that, I'm seeing the messages, I am telling you to back off right now. Like right now, don't do it, okay? Don't you think about it. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly who you were that were exerting pressure. Don't you pretend to be noble now and say nice things about Charlie Kirk and think you're going to slide into his chair, okay? Over my dead body, which I'm sure can be arranged.
Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens, the Catholic Mason who has the truth. Now you can't make this stuff up. Candace Owens exemplifies the controlled right-left dialectic unfolding before us. She is very busy hunting down the clues with her magnifying glass and Scooby-Doo, and we should remain glued to our smartphones, making sure we never look up. So much swag, merch, coffee mug sales and t-shirts will be sold in the World Wrestling Federation online spectacle. We could pay off the damn national debt. But no actual political capital will be amassed that will move the bar from tyranny to freedom. Just be a passive spectator. It's fascinating. Get your popcorn out. Trillionaire bankers do not suddenly give up control. They saw this awakening decades ago as the decentralized internet came in, and they absolutely lost the game in 1988. Yes, that specific year, 1988. Not 1984.
In accordance with the principles of doublethink, it does not matter if the war is not real.
Antifa and the trans is the same thing.
Or when it is, that victory is not possible. The war is not meant to be won. It is meant to be continuous. The essential act of modern warfare is the destruction of the produce of human labor. A hierarchical society is only possible on the basis of poverty and ignorance. In principle, the war effort is always planned to keep society on the brink of starvation. The war is waged by the ruling group against its own subjects, and its object is not victory over Eurasia or Eastasia, but to keep the very structure of society intact. Julia, are you awake?
The underlying aim, Surkov said, was not to win the war, but to use the conflict to create a constant state of destabilized perception in order to manage and control.
Investigative journalist, a real one, Chris Bollin, explained to us over 15 years ago that in 1988, two former Israeli nationals, Avraham Shalom Ben-Dor and Peter Malkin, were vying for the security contract for the World Trade Center via their company, Atwell Security. One was the head of the Shin Bet, Israel's FBI. The other, a head in the Israeli Foreign Service. Ben-Dor ordered the extrajudicial killing of two Palestinian hijackers. They hijacked a bus, and they lost the contract because of the work of a Washington Post journalist, Charles R. Babcock, titled, "Israeli Firm Loses New York Airport Award." It wasn't just airport security, it was also the World Trade Center security. You see, while our fave Catholic Mason, Candace Owens, investigates the colour of Charlie Kirk's underpants when shot, or allegedly shot, depending on conspiracy, I was working hard Googling and AIing my way through Chris Bollin's research and keywords to bring you the big picture via which we understand said Catholic Mason's investigation of Charlie Kirk's underpant colour. Point is, one real investigative journalist back in the day managed to thwart 9/11 pre-1990. More likely, people in US intelligence knew exactly what they were up to. I agree with Chris Bollin, the peak journalist of 9/11 research. The Zionist terrorists lost control at that point, 1988. The City of London lost control in 1988. That was the year. They had wanted to pull off the 9/11 attack with aircraft around 1990, and they needed full access to the World Trade Center and control of all security. They lost it. And they tried a half-assed truck bomb in 1993 because the truck bomb was not placed against the support pillars. The towers did not fall. The FBI counterterrorism unit were totally handling Ramzi Youssef and his friends. That's a well-documented fact. Ordinary FBI agents were doing their jobs yet again, and a supervisor or supervisors stopped them. If you remember, one of their assets within the group complained to his Catholic Mormon FBI handler about the FBI giving them real explosives.
Last winter, the FBI was praised for its speed in cracking the case of the World Trade Center bombing and bringing 4 suspects to trial. Now, there is some evidence that the FBI may have known of the plot in advance through an informant and might even have stopped the bombing that killed 6 people. Correspondent Jacqueline Adams has the story.
FBI agents might have been able to prevent last February's deadly explosion at New York's World Trade Center. They discussed secretly substituting harmless powder for the explosives, but they didn't, according to the FBI's own informant, Imad Salem. Unbeknownst to the FBI at the time, Salem recorded many of his conversations with his handlers.
I'm holding 903 pages of draft transcripts.
William Kunzler represents Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman and several others charged with conspiring to blow up a series of New York City landmarks 4 months after the World Trade Center bombing. That case has not yet gone to trial. Kunzler confirmed newspaper reports of the Salem transcripts. In one, Salem complains to an FBI agent, "Since the bomb went off, I feel terrible. I feel bad. I feel here is people who don't listen." The agent replies, "Hey, I mean, it wasn't like you didn't try and I didn't try. You can't force people to do the right thing."
There is material in here to show gross governmental misconduct.
Today, attorneys for the defendants in the ongoing World Trade Center bombing case formally asked for the transcripts of Salem's tapes.
Quite frankly, beyond me why now, the 4th week into the trial, we still don't have these materials.
Prosecutors have refused to comment publicly, but legal experts say the defense may have no right to those transcripts.
It's not a defense to a crime to say, if only the government had stopped me, I wouldn't have done it. So this isn't material that ordinarily the defense would be entitled to.
In court today, a witness from the Ford Motor Company linked debris recovered from the explosion site to a Ford van where defendant Mohammed Salamat was arrested less than a week after the bombing. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News, New York.
Maybe Catholic Mason super sleuth Candace Owens can explain it all to us when she's finished mind-blowing interviews on who killed Abraham Lincoln. Or maybe after she's finished explaining that Macron's wife has a wee-wee. I mean, seriously? It took 11 years to pull off the original plan in September 2001. 11 years later. Except this time, everyone had a handy-cam camera and we had the internet. Even if it was mostly dial-up or 56 kilobit ADSL, but we had it. Imagine the World Trade Center attacks took place between 1988 and 1990. Please imagine it. It's a completely different result, and it's a completely different planet. No cameras around, just the result to be seen. No one would have questioned Dick Cheney's fave document, the PNAC document, or the Project for the New Israeli Century. The Project for the New American Century, and the Oded Yinon Plan would have unfolded. What's the Oded Yinon Plan? I don't know. Maybe Candace Owens will tell us one day. Or maybe Tucker Carlson. Or maybe Alex Jones. Those words will never leave their lips. After the fall of Iraq would have quickly come Syria, Libya, Jordan, Lebanon, and Iran. The Gaza Strip would have been cleansed way back in the early 1990s, and that is how far behind schedule they truly are. In fact, we are watching the clean-up phase of the failed Oded Yinon plan to build Greater Israel and make the City of London finance state into a cyber and administrative powerhouse, completely controlling the planet's critical infrastructure. That is now off, and a bunch of lesser pedophile, pus-ridden mass murderers will control the Middle East and Eurasia instead. The United States will remain in charge from the United States. Is that better? Imagine the world as a Catholic orphanage. One group of priests rape and beat the children and occasionally kill a child to keep order. Another group of pedophile priests finds this terrible and prefer raping the children more gently and issuing cuddles and Xboxes to their favourite raped child. That is currently the political offering. The aim is to calm and maintain order in the child-raping orphanage until all the old pedophile priests die, and then the thorough investigation can begin. Maybe it truly will be a new world order of basic decency. It seems it will be a long wait. Isn't Dick Cheney dead yet? The cardinal rule is always no one goes to jail, or they offer a sacrifice and hope everyone forgets and goes back to solving the Charlie Kirk murder as an avid online sleuth. Catholic Mason Candace will assist the youth demographic she must contain and intellectually pan up. They have access to the Department of Defense data analytics, and post-2008 they knew they would have to control the narrative as they battled to lock down the entire world's population. The goal continues to be AI. The goal continues to be removing human beings from the command and control mechanisms of society and replacing it with AI. The goal continues to be the taxpayer-funded Pentagon goal of fully autonomous killing machines. The image recognition system is being tested on Teslas right now. After all, as Bibi said,
there aren't that many Jews in the world.
So they will need a little help in the roundups. So after 9/11 and then the 2008 crash and outright theft of $5 trillion in taxpayer money, after Iraq, Syria and Afghanistan and millions dead and traumatized on all sides, here we sit still playing the dialectic, which is now Antifa trannies versus conservatives. I mean, really? They are clearly creative people, the same crisis actor company that invented Flat Earth, World Wrestling, political show must go on for another 10 years at least, until everyone dies. The key is to keep an array of crises and manufactured enemies constantly parading in front of the cameras of the perpetually smartphone stupid. This keeps them off the political field, expending real grassroots political capital. So they are now in the role of passive spectator, cheering for a corporate team, or super sleuthing with Candace, the Catholic Mason.
I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA.
The irony that all of the top alt media whores, MMDCs or multi-millionaire dissident commentators, are all run at the top by Donald Trump's Hollywood super agent, Ari Emanuel, seems to elude the ever-clueless internet. When you note the rise of the global village idiot, the incompetent Elon Musk under Ari Emanuel.
Mr. Musk, how are you?
Congratulations on the promotion.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Those Merlin engines are fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, good idea for an electric jet.
You do?
Yeah.
Then we'll make it work.
You see the direct comparisons with Trump. It's okay. They run the liberal idiot Democratic side as well. Ari owns and runs Kanye, Donald Trump, Joe Rogan, the World Wrestling Federation, the UFC, Alex Jones, all of them. They even put up an even greater idiot in Kamala to ensure the Trump win. I mean, how do you mistake that? And there is his brother, Rahm Emanuel, Obama's former chief of staff, supporting Kamala Harris. I mean, come on, somebody say it. The Emanuel brothers are the sons of literal Israeli intelligence royalty, their mother and father members of the Irgun and the mother a Mossad case officer. I guess the coffee mug sales are in Charlie Kirk and clue hunting with Catholic Mason Candace Owens. We don't call them Opus Dei anymore? Between Mormons and Opus Dei, the FBI would be out of agents. It's getting too ridiculous. It's all been said in the videos linked below. This is old news, which apparently cannot be repeated by the MAM or mainstream alt media. The goal right now is to keep the guessing game going. Did Charlie Kirk fake his own death and is now getting facial reconstruction in a dacha in Cuba? Will Ari Emanuel raise Charlie from the dead, armed only with a green screen and expansive coffee mug sales? Swag on special. What colour underwear did the alleged shooter wear? We must investigate. How magic was the magical bullet? Why do arranged assassinations prefer roofs over grassy knolls this year? And when do we get our much-promised alien invasion, as mentioned in the 1967 parody think tank document, The Report from Iron Mountain?
The heavily footnoted report concluded that peace was not in the interest of a stable society, that even if a lasting peace could be achieved, it would almost certainly not be in the best interests of society to achieve it. War was a part of the economy. Therefore, it was necessary to conceive a state of war for a stable economy. The government, the group theorized, would not exist without war, and nation-states existed in order to wage war. War served the vital function of diverting collective aggression. They recommended credible substitutes and paying a blood price to emulate the economic functions of war, prospective government-devised alternatives to war included reports of alien life forms, the reintroduction of a euphemized form of slavery consistent with modern technology and political processes, and one deemed particularly promising in gaining the attention of the malleable masses, the threat of gross pollution of the environment.
How dare you!
The report from Iron Mountain, 1967.
You see, there is the problem as everyone rushes to AI, automatic killing machines, and generalized automation of systems, so humans can't feel bad about killing other humans, baby.
Because to survive and thrive, we have to overcome a simple problem. The problem is, there aren't that many Jews in the world. There aren't that many Jews in the world. Our numbers are small. And history favors large nations, not small ones. So we have to compensate for our relative numbers. And we've always compensated with our brains and with our guts. But we're in a position now to compensate beyond anything that we dreamed of.
We need to face a very simple fact. It's all fake. There are no official enemies, there is no Islamic terror, trannies with AKs are not coming to get God-fearing Christians, China is not taking over the world and Russia is not taking over Europe, one combat electric golf cart, scooter and donkey at a time. It's all fake. Don't get me wrong, it's real, but it's not organic. Like the weather these days, these boogeymen are stage-managed products, crisis actors and manufactured news just on a large scale, all waiting under your bed. They, in exclamation marks, knew post-World War II that they could not come off a war footing in the immediate term. To do so was to plunge directly into economic downturn, and returning soldiers need jobs. They need hope. They, in exclamation marks, also knew their first attempt at a multipolar world order had failed, and they would need to regroup and try again. This time with trannies. Okay, that was a little joke, but it is kind of working out that way. The international Bolshevik banker, those Trotskyites in suits from the Frankfurt School, had tried since 1913 to form these four basic planetary groupings: a United States of Europe, a Soviet bloc of Eastern Europe, Russia and the Stans, an Asian bloc, and a central control point linking Eurasia with Africa. That was to be Greater Israel. From here, it would all be coordinated.
Putin's dream is to create a multipolar world where Russia will play a predominant role. He revives an ancient Eurasian ideology. Moscow would be at the heart of a new economic hub consisting of former Soviet republics in Europe and Central Asia, stretching from Belarus to Siberia, and including Kazakhstan and, if possible, Ukraine.
Belarus, Kazakhstan, Armenia, and soon Kyrgyzstan. Phil, you said it's big. Look at the size of it, 5 times bigger than its neighbor, the European Union.
Мы продолжим создание союзного государства с братской Россией, если она этого пожелает. Будем развивать тесное взаимодействие с партнерами в рамках Евразийского экономического союза, поэтому Беларусь будет и впредь активным игроком на постсоветском пространстве.
The aim of this economic structure is to show solidarity and be self-sufficient. Open to the rest of the world, it would become the turntable for relations between Europe and Asia. One of these countries, Kazakhstan, is particularly important. Its new capital, Astana, with its avant-garde architecture, is constructed at the heart of the steppes and has been chosen as the future capital of Eurasia.
World War I was a bust, but okay for a first attempt. It led to the first experiment in scientific man in Russia, the holy terror waged on religion by the scientific rationalists and humanists, or Catholic Masons. Wonderful people. As Russian Jewish poet Osip Mandelstam used to quip at the time of the Bolsheviks, quote, "The worst thing in the world is to be in the paws of a humanist," end quote. Its basis was in his poem, The Age, where he refers to the era as the beast.
And you look back, cruel and weak, with an inane smile, like a beast that has once been supple, at the tracks left by your own paws.
Mandelstam went on to annoy Stalin with his constant whining that rounding up critics of the Soviet system and murdering them might not be very humanist, but that's the point of the scientific rationalists or Satan. With intellectual rules you can justify anything. But this annoyed Stalin, so he too was rounded up.
Oh, there he goes. Yes, just we see your list, Beria.
shoot her before him, but make sure he sees it. Or in this one, kill him, take him to his church, dump him in the pulpit. And I'll leave the rest up to you.
Let's go!
When he was arrested, he asked, "So, what are you going to do with me?" The security apparatus replied, "We are to isolate but preserve you." And here we all are, isolated online but preserved by AI chatbots and imaginary friends buying our coffee mugs. Truly, the humanists have evolved into soft kitty paws. Meow. They should try "Love is the fulfillment of the law." But that's not very scientific, too vague, and it's hard to make money out of simple concepts. So, post-World War I, we see the League of Nations, the first United Nations. We see the growth of National Socialism in America under Roosevelt, and the same in Germany under Hitler. They had fascism, or corporatism, its real name, under Mussolini, because Italians like to argue in groups over their coffee, over the soccer, not in singular concepts. Hitler, an employee of the Rothschild East India Company, formed the United States of Europe. Stalin, another employee, formed the North Asian Soviet bloc. Mao, another employee crisis actor, formed the South Asian bloc, and another crisis actor, David Ben-Gurion, would form Greater Israel in the Middle East, linking the Eurasian landmass with Africa. This would be the center of the world, ruled from Jerusalem, as prophesied. North America would form the North American Union. They would all maintain a war footing with each other, shaking fists to justify taxpayer expenditure and focus on high technology developments that would build the technology to enslave and ultimately cull the human race. Eurasia is not at war with Oceania.
As we grasp at victory, there is a cancer, an evil tumor, growing, spreading in our midst. Shout propaganda. Shout your own. Shout out his name.
And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I could just hear him say, "I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem."
Endless crisis actors and manufactured enemies, internal and external, would justify a giant surveillance system. And here we almost are, or are. Unfortunately, this was sport by one of their actors flipping the script and going his own way, as is wont to happen. The unstable asset, or non-script reading crisis actor, is an ongoing international Trotskyite banker Frankfurt School problem. Hitler invaded the Soviet Union rather than simply going to an eternal war footing and bringing Europe under a singular command structure, and sending European Jews to the forming Greater Israel. It all went to pot, a complete disaster. So, with the ring of power in the hands of the United States and Roosevelt's New York Bolshevik gang under the Soviet agent Nathan Gregory Silvermaster, they had to start again. How's the song go?
First, we take Manhattan. Then we take Berlin.
Leonard Cohen wrote about terrorism, put it in a cool song. I wonder who he was referring to. Not sure who was the Ari Emanuel crisis actor agent back in Hitler's day. So it's North America's turn to host the scientific rationalist virus and set up the multipolar world order. And that just got hijacked by local Goy Yale interlopers. Or is that Catholic Masons? And post 9/11, the Eau de Genome plan and PNAC and the end of the Israel, EU, Russia and China domination of Eurasia, that's the City of London. Where do we go from here? Anyway, good luck. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Swag on special this week. Make sure you get plenty angry and click a lot. I'm just a plain old foul-mouthed Irish Australian Catholic. But I can sell coffee mugs too.
Because to survive and thrive, we have to overcome a simple problem. The problem is, there aren't that many Jews in the world.
What's up, y'all? I'm the last man on earth. Shit's all fucked up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.